Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Joan Evans, and I am a project manager for the Wyoming After School Alliance, specifically for the Wyoming Young Entrepreneur Initiative and the Wyoming Young Entrepreneur Pitch Challenge. And we're just thrilled to have you joining us today to continue our series of discussions on entrepreneurship and the Wyoming Young Entrepreneur Pitch Challenge. And, you know, just as a reminder, the challenge is in progress right now, the Wyoming Young Entrepreneur Pitch Challenge, and that will culminate on March 8th. This is a great opportunity for youth to explore the entrepreneurial mindset, practice entrepreneurial skills. And if you haven't already registered your program to participate, we would just really encourage you to do that. In fact, we're going to do a short poll here in a few moments just to see how many of you have signed up. And if you're still interested in signing up, there's plenty of time to do that. In fact, we are giving away free t-shirts to some of our programs. So please register if you can. These roundtable discussions are really designed to support adults that are working with young people on entrepreneurial skills and the entrepreneurial mindset. And so we're really thrilled that you're joining us today. We have a wealth of resources, including a set of modules that were designed in our as a result of our partnership with Impact 307 and the University of Wyoming, and our fantastic intern Heather Heath, who will serve as our moderator for today. So thank you, Heather. We'll talk a little bit more about the modules later, and Kate will put up a few links on how to sign up, where our resources are for the Pitch Challenge, and any other resources that we have in regard to entrepreneurship. You'll notice Michelle Sullivan, our director of the Wyoming After School Alliance, is on today, Kate Foster, and Heather Heath, our intern for the project. So welcome, everyone. Today we will be exploring marketing in a couple of different ways. On one side, kind of thinking about how do we as adults market participation in things like a Wyoming Young Entrepreneur Pitch Challenge to our young people? How do we make that exciting and appetizing for them to think about? And secondly, along the lines of marketing, how do you market your business? How do you approach that? You know, once you have developed an idea, what are some of the things that you should be thinking about, or young entrepreneurs should be thinking about in regard to marketing? So we're kind of looking at it in two different lenses today, and we are just thrilled and just very, very lucky to have with us today two entrepreneurs that are going to share their experiences with us. And we will have an opportunity to ask questions and interact with them. And I would just really encourage you, if you feel comfortable, to turn on your cameras and use the chat box, or jump in with a question anytime. You know, we feel like family here, very informal, and we would just love to see your faces and interact with you. By way of introduction, I'll give a brief introduction on Ron and Carson. Ron Rabou is the founder of Rabou Farms and an inspiring public and motivational speaker, author, and entrepreneur based in southeastern Wyoming. He is here today to share his insights with us on encouraging young people to see risks as opportunities that will help them to gain valuable experiences that last a lifetime. Carson Rabou is a first place winner of our summer Young Entrepreneur Pitch Challenge. He and his brothers are founders of Rabros LLC. And this business provides personally homegrown, wholesome, and certified organic products. He's going to share his perspective with us as a young entrepreneur about the value of participating in programs like a pitch challenge. And we provided a link to Carson's pitch from this summer in our marketing materials for this. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, we would encourage you to do that. So welcome, Ron and Carson. Thank you for being with us today. And at this point, Kate might go ahead and put up a poll for us. So if you see that, go ahead and feel free to participate. We'll probably do another poll later on, and feel free to post any questions you have in the chat or raise your hand. We'll have plenty of time to address those after our little session with Ron and Carson. So Heather, I'll turn over the reins to you as our moderator for this afternoon.
Alrighty, sounds great. And Carson, I'm going to start off with a few questions for you, just because I think you'll be able to provide great insight for these program coordinators on how you got started and what you looked at as the most impactful parts of the experience. So can you just tell us a little bit about what piqued your participation in the Pitch Challenge the past summer?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And I don't know. What do you like by peak? What do you mean by that?
So
Just
why did you choose to participate in the pitch challenge?
okay. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity for our business to just get out there and for me to get a little more experience on how to market my business and how to you know just learn how to run a better business. I think it helped me learn how to become a better public speaker and learn some more marketing techniques that I can use for our business.
Awesome, that's great. So what resources did you find were most important to you in developing your pitch for the competition? Or what would you say the biggest takeaway was from participating?
Okay, I think the biggest resources were I think public speaking is very important. So I think that was a very good resource or takeaway. I also think that me and Riata kind of diving into this a little deeper and learning what like the consumer wants our product to be packaged in. Like I think we switched from bags to buckets because the consumers wanted a bucket, and it was they thought it might be a little more sanitary or durable than just a normal bag.
Gotcha. So you found it important just to connect with other entrepreneurs to figure out different ways you can go about solving your problem?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it.
That's great. So Ron, I'm going to jump to you for a few questions. So as a parent and an entrepreneur yourself, what do you find the most important reasons why young people should participate in a pitch challenge or practice the entrepreneurial mindset?
Well, I'm going to echo Carson's comments and say thanks for having us on today. I really appreciate that. And, I think that really the single biggest reason that young folks should participate in a program like this is because they're going to learn to think differently. We live in a world where, in school, we put everyone in the same box and we go through the same procedures, we go through the same testing procedures, the same classes, books, etc. When you're involved with a program like this, you learn to see things differently. And as an entrepreneur, that's one of the most crucial things that you can do. And really what you need to do is to be able to look at things differently, look at how you can approach a certain subject, how you can tackle a particular project through a different lens with a different mindset. And so when you do that, you are able to see things not for what they are, but for what they can be. And I think that's important, not just for entrepreneurs, but it's important when students get out, whether they are running their own businesses, whether they are in a professional career, whether they are in a trade school, something like that. It's very important to learn to be able to have a mindset where they can problem solve and learn to think for themselves.
Gotcha. That's great. So as program coordinators and teachers and educators, what way do you think we could do a better job in teaching young people why the entrepreneurial skills that we're teaching are so important?
Well, I think one of the ways to do that is to really connect with actual business owners. We live in we're very connected with technology, right? So we can go on Google on the computer and we can, and I would encourage you to do this. I would encourage everyone to do this, to go on and to Google the 10 most important skills that employers are looking for in today's workforce. And in doing so, you will find certain things like communication skills, accountability, responsibility, the ability to work together as a team, the ability to show up, the ability to have a good work ethic. Those are all things that our employers are looking for, but they are tied directly into programs like this. One of the things that I've always joked in speaking over the years with different audiences is that when you're raised on a farm, right, like my kids are, and like I was raised on a cattle ranch, you can't say, yeah, I went and fed the cows if you really really didn't do that, because eventually it's going to catch up with you. And so students to be able to realize that it's important to be able to have something that they are responsible for, something that they have to be accountable for. It's extremely important, but you do that by connecting with real business owners. You do that by connecting with other employers, whether they are presidents of companies or whether they have started up those companies themselves, and with individuals like yourself. Because when you get out into the real world, life does not function as you show up, you learn information, you regurgitate, you test, and then you move on to the next subject. You really have to be able to have the skills that I've mentioned, that I've talked about, that this program helps exemplify as a working adult. Those are things that you have to know. So I think that the program itself lends to the opportunity for students also to not just look at adults as teachers, but look as adults as mentors. And I think that's very, very important, that in order to really understand what adults go through, or what entrepreneurs go through, or what employers go through, and the things that they're experiencing, that we have to be able to connect with them, not just from a student-teacher perspective. While that is important, I think it's even more important that we're able to connect with them as a friend-to-friend perspective, as a student, as a mentor perspective, so that we can begin to teach them the things that will be valuable when they get out in the workforce.
All right, that's a great answer. I really like that answer that you gave. Carson, I'm going to jump back to you for a few more questions. So can you just tell us a little bit about your business and how you approach your marketing, or approach it differently from your dad's business to Rabros?
Yes. So our business, basically we're taking our dad's wheat and we're just going to sell it directly to the consumer. It's not going to go to like a mill and then to a store. We're just going to take the wheat basically fresh from the field and sell it directly to the consumer. And I think it's important that I think people really like it when something's just simple and natural. It doesn't have to go through all the processing and packaging that wheat or flour that you'd buy in the store would go through. I think our business really, it's kind of like getting back to the basics of just, you harvest your wheat and we're going to sell it to you, and you can make your own flour or you can buy flour. Sorry, I think a poll or something came up on my phone. So yes, that's kind of what our business is about.
Gotcha. That's great. So could you talk a little bit more about your competitive advantages of your business? Or I remember from your pitch, the helping world hunger was something you specifically did with your business. So could you just talk a little more about that?
Yes. So I think an advantage that we have is first, we're kids. So I think that's kind of a little bit of an advantage for us. I think when people see that, they're kind of thinking, wow, that's pretty amazing that these kids are just making their own business and starting at this age. I think the biggest advantage we have is that it's just from farm to table. It doesn't go through all the, like I said earlier, the packaging and the processing. It's just a simple organic grain that is basically fresh from the field. And about the world hunger, we've thought about pairing with some sort of hunger, like, I don't know what you'd call it, some like business or
An initiative
just organization.
or something like that?
Yeah. That would help like world hunger or just hunger in America, because we think it's important when you buy a product that you're not only feeding yourself, but you're helping to feed other kids or people who are really in need.
That's great. That's awesome. So back to you again, Ron. How have you approached marketing as an entrepreneur and an author?
Well, if I could add a little bit to Carson's comments as well, if that's okay. You know, we're currently trying to work with the Wyoming Hunger Initiative in helping hungry kids in Wyoming. And really the focus is being able to work with local schools, local organizations to really help. Like, I think that business has to be more. And what I've tried to teach my boys is that business is more than just, you know, making widgets and selling those widgets and creating a profit, right? Like, there has to be a bigger purpose behind it. And so when we worked together and when they developed this, that they said, you know, we really want to make a difference in someone else's life. So how do we make a difference in someone else's life besides just saying, well, you know, we're going to make those widgets or we're going to package some wheat and we're going to sell it, right? We want to do something different. We want to set ourselves aside. So for one, that's a competitive advantage. But I think Carson's right in the fact that there is a desire by the consumers right now to have farm to table products. And so it's important as entrepreneurs, and it's important for students who are involved in an entrepreneurial program to understand that entrepreneurship and starting a business and starting a project isn't necessarily about what they want. It is more about what the consumer wants. So I have built my business, and that is how I've approached marketing with my farm, is that traditionally farmers raise a product, and traditionally it's a product that's been raised for generations. They grow it, they get it, they take it to an elevator and they say, this is my product. And the elevator says, this is how much I'm going to pay you for it. And they say, okay. And what we've done is we've just taken a little bit of a twist on our farm, and we've said, let's go to the consumers directly. Let's figure out what the consumers want, not what we think we can, that we think the consumers want, but let's go directly to those consumers. Let's have them tell us what they want, and then let's build our business according to what the consumers want. So, that has been a result of us growing usually between 8 and 10 different types of crops that have never been grown. Many of them have never been grown in our county before. And we have been able to be the first growers for a lot of these crops, and we've been relatively successful in doing so. But it's because we've identified what the consumer's needs are. And so I would encourage everyone who is mentoring the program, anyone who's participating in this, go to the marketplace and really figure out what the consumer wants. Because me as a farmer, my business is not about what I want and about what I want to raise. It's about what I can market. It's about what I can sell and what I can market and sell, most especially profitably, right? So if I continue to do the same thing over and over, then I'm always going to get the same results that I've always gotten. And so it's important to have that different mindset. I think that it's important too. I wanted to echo a little bit about what we talked about a little bit before, and that was having students become involved in a entrepreneur program, is that it will help them understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur. So I think a lot of times, we have this discussion with grain buyers, we have it in discussions with groups that come and tour the farm, that we always tell people, if the American consumer knew what it took to get food onto their table, there would be no waste. They would have a completely different mindset. So, the last 3 hours this morning, so I came in my office and threw my hat on so I could get on the computer with you guys, because for 3.5 hours we've been out scooping millet, which is a gluten-free product, with a shovel out of a bin into 3 semi-loads. And so that amounts to about 150,000 pounds with a shovel. And so that's what we have to do on our end. So we need to do a better job as entrepreneurs in communicating that, what it takes to get products on the shelf. So when we started the idea of Rabros, we said, wow, maybe we should help educate the public a little bit about, that not only is this a farm fresh product, not only is it something that can make a difference in the lives of other people, but maybe we can help educate the consumer base about what agriculture really is. And so this is all important for students to know and to understand, that a lot of times we go to a grocery store, in our instance, and we look at a product on the shelf and we say, that looks good, so we buy it. But we don't have any idea the long process that it takes to get dirt in windswept southeastern Wyoming, right? To put a seed in the ground, to hopefully have it grow even when we don't get any rain, and to have all the equipment put together to be able to put it in a bag, to be able to get it directly to the consumers. And so this is a big responsibility, right? Like it's a big deal to be able to not only participate in an entrepreneurial contest, whether you're doing it with agriculture or not, but I'm speaking because that's what I know and that's what we do. But it's a big deal to be able to be involved in the process, whether you're a student or whether you're involved with the organization or whether you're a mentor helping a student come up with something. It's a big deal because entrepreneurship is still what makes America work. So I heard a newscast yesterday, and I was really surprised by it actually, where a recent poll came out. And, we hear a lot about corporate farms, right? So everyone I'm sure that's listening to this has heard of corporate farms, and corporations are taking over farms. And while that is true to some degree, this particular newscast said that 96% of farms in America are still owned by families, and they're still run by families. That's important for us to know, right, as entrepreneurs. So it's important for my kids to know and understand that, is there a place for them on a farm? Is there a place for them in packaged goods? Is there a place for them in retail? Absolutely. If they decide that they want to pursue that, then it's important for them to know that there's people like yourselves who are out there who are willing to help them get involved, and that there are opportunities that are still available in our country, despite what we hear, despite what goes on politically, that entrepreneurs are still the backbone, they're still the foundation of what makes our country work.
That's awesome. Little feedback. But Ron or Carson, could you think of just any final advice for adults supporting young people in developing the entrepreneurial mindset? Just any, whether for Carson, it's you, just the support that you wish you could have received more of, or the support that you were able to receive, or just other ways that our program coordinators can just give that support to their kids participating.
Did we lose Carson?
I think we lost him.
Oh,
I bet he'll be back.
He'll be back. I'm sure he lost his connection. I think that the single most important thing, and if I could help answer that, is that being an entrepreneur is scary, right? So I remember when I stepped out and decided that I was going to build a farm. I really didn't know how to farm. I didn't have the equipment. I didn't have the infrastructure. I didn't have the land. I didn't have the storage. I didn't have anything that I needed to really do what I really wanted to do. So that's the first step. So if you don't actually enter the game, you'll never get started and you'll never understand what it takes. And so the first thing is that even if you're scared, even if you're hesitant, the benefit of this program, obviously, is that you have a mentor that can help guide you through this, that can help you, that can really, in essence, hold your hand and help you learn and understand what those steps are. That my boys are, realistically, they're a long ways away from being able to market their product in any great degree. Right? But that's a step in the process, that if we don't teach kids to make that first step, that they'll never make it. And so it's much like going out for the basketball team when you think that you're no good or you think you don't know how to play basketball. The reason that you eventually do it is because you really want to give it a shot. And this is really no different. But what I think is exceptional about the program that you all have right now is that you have someone that can help walk you through this. It's a big deal. Being an entrepreneur it involves a lot of risk. And that risk is something that a lot of people can't tolerate. But I would encourage everyone to understand that no matter what you do in life, it's going to be a risk. If you go get a job, a traditional job, and you're going to work at McDonald's, or you're going to work at a major corporation, or you're going to develop software, or whatever you're going to do, there's risk in that. The thing that I like about being an entrepreneur is that I can control to a large degree about what happens in my business. So if things aren't going well in my business, and if I look at particular markets that are not working anymore, then it's up to me to control how to change that, right? Like I have to change my business model. I have to change my approach. I have to look at a different way to do things. And so no matter what you do in life, there's going to be risk. You're going to have to give up some degree of security. But as an entrepreneur, you're really resting that within yourself, that you're really taking yourself and you're saying, I have enough confidence, maybe not right now, but I have enough confidence in my own ability to step up to make this thing work. And it might take 2 years, it might take 5, it might take 10, it might take longer. But the point is the lesson to be learned is that you'll never get to that point unless you start. And that's the single most important thing.
Awesome. Well, that was great, Ron. And I don't think Carson ended up back on here, but thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back over to Joan if she has any final thoughts she would like to tie in.
Right. Thank you, Heather. And thank you, Ron and Carson, wherever you are. I'm sure he will float back into our technology land here anytime soon. We're all really getting good at figuring all of the Zoom and virtual meeting landscape out. But I really appreciate you joining us today, Ron, and sharing your insight. And I think, for myself, I'm listening thinking, maybe I don't consider myself an entrepreneur. Maybe I don't feel like I have the qualifications to guide young people through a process. But what I'm hearing from you, it's really about providing that support, that it's okay to take risks and it's okay to try things, and understanding what other supports are out there to really kind of guide them. We don't have to be experts. And really, we never really get to that level anyway. We have to really think about it, that we're all learning through this process all of the time. And it's okay to question each other even through the process.
Well, I think that's absolutely well said. And I think that a lot of times we don't try things because we think we're not going to be good at them. But if we don't try them, how do we know that? Right? And so I would beg to differ with your comment about the fact that maybe you're not an entrepreneur, because I know for a fact, Joan, that you have a wonderful family. And I'll bet you that when you got married, you had no idea how to raise a family. But you figured it out, right? You figured that out. I mean, I remember that for my own self. And so the key is that you're always, not every day is perfect, but the key is that every day you're putting your best effort forward. And it doesn't mean that you're going to make great strides and that things are going to work out exactly the way that you want them to work. in everything that you do with your business, with your family, with school, whatever it is. But the fact of the matter is that if you continue to move forward, you continue to make good choices, you continue to take action, even if it's actually most importantly, if it's small things, that eventually those end up being the things that really make the difference.
Very good point. And I think also, you know, some of our young entrepreneurs and youth that try the pitch challenge, you know, they may or may not ever bring a business idea to fruition, but it's the idea that they're practicing the mindset, practicing the skills. One of the things that Carson mentioned several times was public speaking. You know, being comfortable speaking in front of your peers, of people that you don't know, different groups, all of that. And so, you know, really you shouldn't shy away from it just because you think, well, I don't really want to start a business or I don't want to run my own business. That's really not the end goal in all circumstances.
Absolutely.
I think we'll take just a moment. Kate, if you want to share your screen. Some of you may be aware of the modules that we developed. I mentioned them earlier. Heather was absolutely instrumental in putting these modules together as part of our partnership with the University of Wyoming Impact 307. But this is really a resource that's available to you as programs to provide a structure for your young participants to start at the beginning and identify a problem and work through a process where you eventually submit a pitch or complete a pitch and possibly enter it in our pitch challenge. So we have a series of modules here. And Heather, do you want to talk a little bit about maybe the first module and the resources that are kind of embedded there with the links?
Yeah. So pretty much how all the modules are structured is I created, some just have one video, some have two, but they all address the main topic of the module. So how to identify a problem. And then we also include different activities like the wacky inventions activity. I don't know if that one specifically is, I think there is in one of the modules, we actually have Scott Mann from Venture Lab come in and do wacky inventions with us. Or there's the customer journey map, which is just a worksheet for you to fill out. But they're all explained how they work in the video, how you go about them, and there's directions on them as well. So it just kind of takes you through the whole process, but in steps to where it doesn't feel too overwhelming at once.
How much time would you say needs to be spent on each section of the modules, Heather, if folks are trying to get a sense of the time that it takes to have youth kind of explore these topics?
Well, I think it's almost as much. So some of the videos, they are only 5 minutes long. And I think there's a few that the longest one I think is around 15 minutes, which still isn't even that too much time. And the activities are structured to where I don't know if it's in the first module. One of the first modules, there's the activity 30 circles that I also utilized for a Walk Like an Entrepreneur Wednesday. And that's just, you take 3 minutes to try to get as many ideas on paper that you can and get that creative mindset flowing. Oh, there it is, the one. I think Kate's pulling it up. Yeah, this one. So this activity, it just only takes 3 minutes to do, but it's just a great jumpstart activity to start thinking in that entrepreneurial mindset in that way. But you can spend just 30 minutes, or even if you're so invested in an activity, some kids may take it and run with it and want to spend even an hour and just build on their idea because it just sparked something in their problem. And they're like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. And I'm ready to run with it and continue on through the process.
Great. Thank you, Heather, for taking us a little bit more on a deeper dive of those resources that are available. And along with the modules that Heather was instrumental in creating, we do have some other resources through Junior Achievement and Venture Labs, depending on the age groups that you're working with, and just encourage you to use those resources as it works with your programs. And don't hesitate to reach out to us. Kate, myself, Michelle, Heather, any of us are happy to talk one-on-one with you and, draw on the expertise of folks like Ron and Carson that have so much insight for us. I'd like to just open it up in case we have any questions from those of you who are participating today. You can pop those in the chat or feel free to turn on your mic and share your thoughts. I know I did notice in the poll that a few of the programs participating today have students working on a pitch. So if any of you would like to talk a little bit about how that's going and share your experiences, that would be wonderful. And while you're kind of thinking about that, since everybody tried to talk at once, we'll try to take a minute to sort that out. And Michelle, do you have anything that you'd like to add, or something maybe that Ron or Carson said that kind of turned a light bulb on for you?
No, well, I just love also, I mean, I think, and Ron, you said it so beautifully, just that you just have to start. And I like, from my perspective, just seeing Carson too, it's one of the things that's been really gratifying to me over the course of these last months is to see how young people really grow and develop some confidence as a part of the practice of things. And we had a comment, we were on a call with the 21st Century Learning Communities directors yesterday around the state. And they were talking about how we're at a particularly challenging time around young people having lost a little confidence in this, in this period of time of being a little bit isolated. And so while I think this is one of those things where they're learning a lot of the skills that are going to be important to them as adults, they're also, I think, particularly important right now as we give young people opportunities to kind of fail forward in a way that builds that confidence and resilience a little bit right now. So even if you just use some of the modules just to create some activities for kids, I really think it's a great opportunity to kind of help give them spaces to practice. And we've really seen that with the young people who we've been lucky enough to participate with this. And then I'll say just a couple things, a few little announcements. First of all, in some of Heather's modules too, we worked really hard to interview young entrepreneurs around Wyoming. We really wanted to reflect back to kids, other young people who were doing interesting things around the state. And so that's something you'll see in a number of those modules and some of our resources. And then we want to also announce that we just have received some funding from a couple of foundations to do 3 what we're calling the Spirit of Wyoming prizes for young people who come up with social solutions to solve Wyoming's challenges, either in their community or for the state. And so we really want to also encourage folks to think about if they have kids who may not have a business idea, but have some sort of social solution that they're really interested in thinking about and contributing back. We had a youth forum that some of you may have been on Tuesday afternoon, and there was a young woman who proposed some mentoring opportunities for first generation college applicants. And I was like, oh my gosh, we need to have her do a pitch challenge for that, because it was just wonderful. So I know you all have lots of relationships with kids who might not think of themselves as entrepreneurs in the typical way, but remember that there are 3 $500 prizes that will go to the Spirit of Wyoming Awards. So I put that out there to all of you who know those kids who have that interest as you go forward. So I'm just grateful to have everybody, and we'll turn it back over to anybody else to make some last comments.
Michelle, could I ask you a quick question in
Sure.
regards to that? It's social solutions for particular problems that we're experiencing, or what would be what are the specifics of that, I guess?
So the way I think we would I guess it's better terminology would be like a social enterprise. So for instance, we had, and so that might mean, and perhaps it's I'll give you a couple of examples from the pitch challenge that that Carson was a part of. Kaylee Lund, who was one of our participants and who actually won this award this summer, had a solution for counties where she felt like if we could create and help counties to create websites that were a little bit more attractive and were more effective at connecting services, that would help communities to be able to market themselves more effectively in the state. Actually, and I think this an example might be, say, creating an organization that was helping first-generation college students to navigate the college process or the process of. So I think it's interesting. It kind of fits within. It might be a business, but it also might be something that is more of a social enterprise to support the needs in their communities. Does that make sense, Ron?
Absolutely, yes.
Or, I guess also it might be farm to table and having part of the proceeds go to a national hunger initiative is a great example as well. Yeah.
Sure.
So, yes.
We have also been able to work with a young entrepreneur in Sheridan, right, Michelle? Sarah Von Krosik?
Mm-hmm.
To, oh, my glare is on my screen. Let me see if I can fix this. Anyway, oh, there you go. Michelle has them. Better. We have some very cool stickers that we can share. Let your ideas grow. Hold that just a little higher, Michelle, so we can see the bottom. There you go. And we'll have some t-shirts available along with prizes if the youth go ahead and go all the way and submit their pitch challenge. And one of the things that we offered this summer, and we will offer this to all of you too, is a lot of technical assistance around the time that the pitch challenge deadline approaches. If you're not sure how to get that pitch uploaded on our portal, we have plenty of people to help. I remember one of the youth from the summer, I think we were at 8 p.m. on the night that it was due, and she was out in the middle of on a farm or ranch somewhere in visiting family and had limited internet, but we connected her and got her pitch uploaded. So we're here to help, and that's the message, and support everyone together in a community of really kind of working all toward the same goal of supporting our youth to learn and grow. So thank you so much for joining us. Any other thoughts or questions as we kind of near the end of our time today? It's a quiet group, but hopefully we have provided you with some information that will be helpful. Again, thank you, Heather, for moderating today. Thank you for all you've done to support this initiative and develop some wonderful resources for the programs. And thank you, Ron. Thank you, Carson, wherever you are, probably on his way to basketball practice. But no, we really appreciate all of you joining us today. If there's any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and keep an eye out on our Facebook page for Walk Like an Entrepreneur Wednesday. In fact, we have a great post from yesterday out there, so check it out. Heather's done a great job of putting together a quick message each Wednesday to get our mindset around walking like an entrepreneur.
Well, thank you all for all that you do. So thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks,
Have a great
everyone.
evening.
See you,
Take
Celeste
care.
and Joe. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.